So the passage you have studied, maybe the central passage is the scientists, they have provided two following rules.
Yes.
By those way
Ground
we
rules.
can protect this earth or protect planet for being polluted,
Yes.
as well as we can keep safer for living or staying in this planet. Maybe one is natural preservation.
Yes.
I mean all the things, trees, land, soil, water, and ocean, everything. Those are coming from nature, so those should be protected. And second one is I couldn't properly gaze or understand the first ground or the second ground maybe.
Second is very conservative assumption that we are looking for life form that is pretty well as second.
Okay, so yes,
And first is very critical, I think.
Mhm.
First, UFOs, unidentified flying objects, are generally ignored since most scientists don't consider the evidence for them to be strong enough to bear serious consideration. Although it is also important to keep an open mind in case any really convincing evidence emerges in the future.
Maybe there is some scientific research or scientific some calculation or direction that is calling in brief UF something.
UFOs.
Okay, so maybe on that ground or on that indication,
I think these are generally ignored.
hmm,
These are generally ignored.
generally ignored means some scientists they have put some directions, so by the following this way we can protect our environment, we can protect our
Ignored
earth.
since most scientists don't consider the evidence for them to be strong enough to bear serious consideration.
That means some previous scientists, they have some research, they put some rules, they put some indication, so we can keep our origin and species and some
I
other.
think they are generally ignored means we shouldn't do that.
What I can assume that is some previous scientists, they put some methods for keeping our species alive for the long time, and some middle age scientists, they do not consider their indication. They thought that by this way naturally we cannot make extend their lives as well, so we have to do another way. They can maybe they have discovered some hybrid protection, hybrid cultivation,
Okay.
or some rearing
But
issues.
these all the passages are for one IELTS exam.
Yeah, yes, this is we have this is okay, I'm showing you.
No, I am saying like that.
This is the second
Unit,
part
yes.
of reading.
Second part.
Second part we have
That
completed.
means
First
two
part,
parts.
yes, first part, that will be very one passage, long passage, so we will get some 7 questions. Okay, after that we will get reading passage 2, that means this is the second part. Second part we will get 5 passages, and after reading 5 passages we have to answer
How
some
many
questions.
marks here?
For each question you will get 1 mark.
Oh,
There is no
one.
negative marking.
It's I think different tasks.
Yes, time is in reading you will not get time. This is the problem, and you have to study so quickly, and the main
But you
mechanism
you
will be
have no idea about the
about the
topic,
some topic, but you have to gauge. Basically, you have to gauge the central theme, and when you will get the questions, find out what is the same theme. Okay, so I am reading this passage number 3. Even when we make these assumptions, our understanding of our life forms is still severely limited. We do not even know, for example, how many stars have planets, and we certainly do not know how likely it is that life will arise naturally. Given the right conditions, however, when we look at the 100 billion stars in our galaxy and 100 billion galaxies in the observable universe, it seems inconceivable that at least one of these planets does not have a life form on it. In fact, the best educated guess we can make using the little
Best educated guess.
in fact, the best educated guess assumption we can make using the little that we do know about the conditions for carbon-based life leads us to estimate that perhaps one in 10,000 stars might have a life-bearing planet orbiting it. That means that our nearest neighbors are perhaps 100 light years away. That means there is some another planet where a living creature has been found. So the distance of Earth and that planet is 100 light year.
Light year.
Light year.
Alokbars.
Which is amidst next door
Which is
which is almost next door in astronomical terms. That means they are
Yes.
our neighbor.
Jyoti.
How could you make summarization in this passage? The passage is telling the general people, we even know, and we do not have the proper idea how many stars and what is the galaxy
Yes.
galaxy system.
And
And,
is there more living places of those galaxies? Okay. And there is the scientific explanation that there is the existing lives are from a huge distance, which is light year, Alok Barsha. I think the key thing of this part is critical that for general public,
yes,
but
some astronautical
yes. But
astronomical research.
for the scientists who are working on these issues, they are getting some ideas or getting some existence of life, but not so much near. It is very distant.
Yes, and because the common people, they do not have much interest
Yes.
for thinking about what is happening and what are the creatures they are staying, even what will be the potential thinking in another planet.
When I was
This
in
is not a matter
child,
of
I was in class 8 or 9. One of my teachers are sometimes bite us more and more, and talk like this. There is the scientists are getting another place where we can live, and on those planets, and if you just take a tablet early in the morning, you needn't eat more to spend.
how many days it will work?
One day.
One day.
Yes.
Oh, that's a very good invention. So we are actually doing work
But
for this.
this is not a matter of love. I think science is progressively working well. So when it will be happen, I don't know. But if there is any planet, I don't think that you and me will go there, because there are many
Many
Takawala
rich people
who will,
industrialists
will
like
go for adventure.
yes.
But like Abid and Lakayum, they
We will be
just,
the last passenger of that planet, maybe.
no, they will just sit here and exercise on ice to move in the developed country.
Yes, you are right as usual.
Because we are going in this art, we want to move in another countries. We just working in this such kind of efforts. How can you feel you will go in another planet?
Another planet.
What kind of practice you needed?
Yes.
Okay.
That will be very difficult. Okay, so that is the end of part.
Maybe there are another option that you need to suicide, then you will go. on
I will
another
go automatically. Okay, so passage D.
Passage D. An alien civilization could choose many different ways of sending information across the galaxy.
Hmm.
But many of these either require too much energy or else are severely attenuated. I don't know what's the meaning of attenuated. ATTENUATED. Attenuated while traversing the vast distances across the galaxy. It turns out that for a given amount of transmitted power, radio waves in the frequency range 1000 to 3000 megahertz travel the greatest distance, and so all sources to date have concentrated on looking for radio waves in this frequency range. So far there have been a number of sources by various groups around the world, including Australian sources using the radio telescope at Parkes, 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 New South Wales, which is in Australia. Until now, there have not been any detection from the few hundred stars which have been searched. The scale of sources have been increased dramatically since 1992, when the US Congress voted NASA $10 million per year for 10 years to conduct a thorough search for extraterrestrial life. Much of the money in this project is being spent on developing the special hardware needed to search many frequencies at once. The project has two parts. One part is targeted search using the world's largest radio telescope, the American operated telescope in Arecibo, Puerto Rico, and French telescope in Nancy in France. The part of the project is searching the nearest 1000 likely stars with high sensitivity for signals in the frequency range 1000 to 3000 MHz. The other part of the project is an undirected search which is monitoring all of space with a lower sensitivity using the smaller antennas of NASA's Deep Space Network.
Okay, the passage is actually telling the assumption. Actually, this passage is putting some, giving some assumption. Not only scientists of this planet are actually discovering or trying to invent what is happening some other planet, as well as their assumption is some other alien, scientists of alien, they're also searching the ways what is happening in other planet. So they're sending information using telescope, and there are some obvious evidence also. Some US, they have some messages got from alien using telescope, and some France, they have also sent some messages to the other planet alien, and both are reciprocally sent.
What kind of technologies? Like we are getting just Bangabandhu 2 or Bangabandhu 1, and we are getting the net line or internet will be faster. This kind of topic is discussion here.
No. This is not a matter. This is not a discussion issue of satellite. This is a telescope. Telescope means, the message I am sending, that will be directly go there. when you were watching a movie like Kick, star from Salman Khan, Kick. Have you watched
No.
the movie? Okay. In Hollywood movie, there are some radiation that is putting in a place and a human being is moving.
Oh,
But when you touch, you will go for touching, it will not be visible, it will not be touchable. So this is a matter of
Alien.
telescope. Okay, so when you will send some information here, so that will go there like what you are saying directly. So this is a telescope.
Yes.
And telescope is some technology that can work more precisely, lively and freshly. Okay, so in this way it is happening, because
And they are
sending
spending much money for the
much
project.
money, yes, in this project, because when astronauts, they will go lively using some rockets, some other vehicles on other planet, it will be much more costing. Even it may be a matter of life destroying issue.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so using telescope, it is much more cheaper, as well as it will consume less time, and it can give accurate information for finding the discoveries or inventing some alien of other planet. Okay, last classes.
Okay.
There is considerable debate over how we should react if we detect a signal from an alien civilization. We are reacting. Okay, everybody agrees that we should not reply immediately. Quite apart from the impracticality of sending a reply over such large distances at short notice, it raises a host of ethical questions that would have
Ethical question.
that would have to be addressed by the global community before any reply could be sent. I mean, before sending any reply, we have to ask some questions from other global people. Would the human race face the culture shock if faced with a superior and much older civilization? Luckily, there is no urgency about this. The stars being searched are hundreds of light years away. So it takes hundreds of years for their signal to reach us, and that means, so it takes hundreds of years for their signal to reach us, and
Hundred
for
of years.
100 years, and a further few hundred years for our reply to reach them, and it will take another 100 years for reaching the message. It's not important. Then, if there is a delay of a few years or decades while the human race debates the question of whether to reply, and perhaps carefully drafts a reply. So that is the end of passage 2. So now we will work out